The Brooke Paul versus Will Burke rivalry is probably my favorite storyline so far in this series, as there were two incredible prospects, really three at the top of that draft class, and selecting Will Burke, the controversy behind it and following who has the better career is going to be something that we will be tracking throughout this series. And we continue to track this rivalry today as we get the first matchup in Season 2 between these players. But before we hop into the game, there are a couple of things that I want to talk about. Number one is what we've done so far throughout the season. We are 5-1 heading into this game. And funnily enough, all 6 games before this one were NBA Cup games, which kind of feels a little odd. But in addition to that, I watched all of these games. None of these have been simmed yet, and so I've gotten a pretty good look at what our team is looking like so far in this fourth season. Our only loss was to Oklahoma City, and they are just a really good team, so I can't even blame us really for that loss. But I'm liking what I'm seeing. We have 4 pretty comfortable victories, 15 points, 18 points, 19 points, and 21 points in 4 of our victories. But there was a very narrow victory against San Antonio. I'll plan on going a little bit further into this game next episode, because I think the next game that we'll watch after Miami will be this November 15th game against San Antonio. But just taking a look at kind of what we've been doing here, it's been very encouraging to see how Nixon and Burke have been playing. They continue to just be really good. We nearly got a triple-double here from Nixon in this win against Portland. I mean, this was an awesome Jarris Walker game. Going to the Clippers game, we got a 30 bomb from Will Burke here, and Nixon 24, 9, and 7 in that game against Sacramento. We got dual 40 bombs, Burke and Nixon each dropping 40 in this game. And then Simons was the next up at 10. I mean, if you're having two guys scoring 40, nobody else is going to really score all that much. And of course, we know the game against Golden State. So Nixon and Burke are both really doing well. Another thing that has changed since opening day is I decided to start Julian Strother. And you see that there's a injury here to Will Burke, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But ultimately, I think Strother is just a better version of exactly what we're hoping to get from Greg Weber this season. Taking a look here, let's go to the grades. I mean, what did we want from Weber? We wanted somebody who can shoot it and who can defend. And ultimately, Strother is a very similar, like he doesn't have the mid-range scoring, I guess, but other than that, he's a little bit better of a defender and he's a little bit better of a shooter. And he also has badges that Weber doesn't have. So the role that I envisioned when I drafted Weber, I think Strother just fits it a little bit better. I wasn't expecting a 3 overall boost to Julian Strother in the offseason, as well as some badge development from him to the point where he could be the starting 2 guard. I thought he was just going to keep the role that he had last year. And ultimately, I do think Weber next season will be somebody who takes over Strother's role. But for this year, I just think our best chance of winning is Strother taking that role. And ultimately, it's a 4-minute difference. So it's not like we're significantly impacting how much Weber's going to be on the floor. It's just he's not going to be in a starting role capacity. And then another thing is this Will Burke injury. It happened in the final minutes of that Spurs game. Now, it is nothing too incredibly serious here. He has a strained right hip, 1 to 2 weeks, and I planned on just having him sit out to heal, but he is insistent on playing against Miami. He's aware of the Paul versus Burke rivalry, so following Miami, I'm going to have him sit until he's all healed up. Luckily for us, we have a 5-day streak of not having any games, which will allow him to heal some as well. But we're not going to have him at 100% for this game, which is unfortunate. I thought about maybe waiting until the next Miami game to spotlight, but this is just a game that I wanted to watch, and who knows, maybe one of Burke or Paul will be injured the next time we face Miami. So because it's a minor injury, we're just going to let him play through it for this game and check in on the Miami Heat, who are a very good team. I mean, you saw their starting lineup, but they also have Tyler Hero, an 86 overall coming off the bench, and Khalil Ware, an 82 overall coming off the bench. A good combination of solid all-around starters with a deep bench. This should be a fun matchup. One last thing before we hop into the gameplay for today's episode. I did make a couple of minor trades here, and they were to upgrade our mentor slots here. One was trading Rudy Gobert and 4 second-round picks for Bobby Portis. Had to trade a decent chunk of second rounders because Bobby Portis is actually kind of good. I don't actually think he's going to be very happy not getting any minutes at a 79 overall, but ultimately I don't care if Bobby Portis is happy. I want Will Burke to get some good mentorship. And so he has set shot specialist, which should help him nail more of his jumpers. I really wanted that one. And then he also has 3 post badges, or interior scoring badges, I guess you could say, that Will Burke doesn't quite have yet. I had to only pick 2 out of the 3. Ultimately, I went with post-up poet and hook specialist. For that, I would like paint prodigy as well, but we're just going to have to roll with this. I did have to take on a 3-year Bobby Portis contract, though. I think it was like $7 or $8 million. So we had 5 second-round picks. I traded 4 of them for Bobby Portis, and the other one, oh, whoops. Let's get this back. And then I also upgraded the Ken Nixon. Oh, it looks like I didn't save that one either. So we went with Ben Simmons over Tyus Jones. I had to trade Tyus Jones and a 1 second-round pick to get to Ben Simmons because they were pretty much the same overall. He has strong handle, which I think Ken Nixon could really benefit from. Versatile, visionary, and unpluckable. Just 3 ball handling badges. It looks like he might not actually get unpluckable. That bar doesn't go all the way to the top, but hopefully he can. Just kind of combination of getting it from Ben Simmons as well as maybe some personal development of the badge. I don't know. But I wanted to get him some badges that will help him be a better point guard. And Ben Simmons was ultimately the best option that we had. There were some guys that had better badges both for Burke and Nixon, but they were too good. Like, I don't want anybody 80-plus overall to be just a mentor that doesn't get any minutes. So Bobby Portis was like the very high end of who I would accept as a mentor. So this is, I think, the best that we could do for these 2 players for this season with the options that were available. But enough talk. Let's get this game going now. 5-1 versus 5-1, 2 of the best teams out the gate in the NBA this year. Before the gameplay actually starts, and we're in pregame warmups here, I do have to apologize. I recently got my PC kind of redone because it had some problems, and when I came back, I didn't realize that OBS, the game capture audio, wasn't going to work immediately. And I didn't realize it until I started to record what is ultimately going to be next episode. So no game audio for this Venom versus Heat. You're just going to have to listen to my voice. That's all. But apologize. Like I said, it will be back for next episode, though. Inside Will Burke, another tough layup, the second early for him this game. Very excited to get an update on this Burke versus Paul. Bam Adebayo confidently taking the triple. Nice drive to the basket, getting all the way there from Nixon. He's going right at Yakuchonis. This time it's blocked away. Great help defense from Bam Adebayo. Brooke Paul, his first shot of the day is money from beyond the arc on the catch and shoot in transition. Burke backing down. Carl Matthews gets this one blocked away. I don't know why he went up with the left there. It looks like he had more space if he had gone up with his right hand, which is his dominant hand, as Brooke Paul makes his second triple. Pick and pop. Ken Nixon spinning, finding an open J. Will for 3, giving the Venom back the lead here a few minutes into this first quarter. Almost stolen away by Jarris Walker. Instead, Bam finds himself wide open at the rim. inside. Trying to go up top for Jarris Walker, but that was just a pretty poor pass. The other way, Bam Adebayo shoves away Jarris Walker and slams it home with both hands. Strong play there from Bam. It has been all Bam and Brook ball here in the first quarter. Brook ball, that jumper's feeling nice for him. Bam's making it happen from everywhere. And Ken Nixon out of the timeout with some authority. Bam's not going to get a weak side block on that one, that's for sure. Yakachonis, top of the key, gives it to Brook Paul. He's going right at Anthony Simons. That's a good matchup for the Heat to exploit, and it's a double-digit first quarter already for Brook Paul. He's looking so much better than when we checked in on the Heat a year ago. Of course, he got a pretty massive season of development in the offseason, as you know, that year 1 to 2 jump is always pretty massive for these 2K prospects with high potential. That's a tough look inside from Greg Weber. Gets it to go regardless of the defense. Williams, handoff to Simons, and Yakachonis was late getting there defensively, and Simons made him pay. Up top, that's Carl Matthews. Williams was just trailing him a bit, and a perfectly placed pass by Yakachonis. The Heat are the #1 assist team in the NBA, and it's in large part due to Kasparas Yakachonis. He's become one of the top assist men in basketball, and now he's stolen it away from Will Burke. Going the other way, that's a great defensive effort from Ken Nixon to get back after the turnover. Here he finds a wide-open Anthony Simons off the off-ball screen. We've got ourselves a tight one through the first quarter. Bam! Another triple from him. Tyler Hero now trying to come up with something as the first quarter is coming to a close, and he pulls it right in Ken Nixon's eye to give the Heat what would be a 7-point lead heading into the second here. Extended with the pick and roll from Hero and Hashimura, and now it's Sexton and Hashimura. Different combinations, same result on the pick and roll. Simons a little bit no look going inside to Will Burke. Weber finds Simons, but it's blocked away by Miami. Going the other way, Weber with a great defensive effort, getting to the rim and stuffing the transition from the Heat. Double picks for Simons, who slips by Hashimura at the rim for an easy layup. Sexton, no good. Venom going the other way. Will Burke passes it inside to Weber, who has another tough finish. He has not been scoring much so far in his rookie season, so getting a couple of nice, tough looks on the inside, hopefully going to be building his confidence. He does have one 10-point game so far, but other than that, hasn't been super involved offensively. Simons attacking Yakachonis in isolation, getting to the basket. Miami. Nice Euro step from RJ Barrett, but Jarris Walker had a nice help defense there. Bam Adebayo, a second offensive rebound, but it's blocked away by Will Burke. Simons gets a great screen from Burke, wide open from three. Makes it a 3-point ball game. Simons once again isolating on Yakachonis. This seems to be the matchup that we're trying to exploit. Feeds it inside to the big man for the dunk. Yakachonis spinning and then into the behind the back, gets by Simons. I mean, these point guards are just going right at each other here in the corner. In the quarter, excuse me. Burke inside, gets around Khalil Ware, and it leads to a Miami timeout. It has been a very tight ball game here. 1 point the difference. Brook Paul, solid look from deep, but it's rebounded inside by Kasparas Yakachonis. You can't let him get the offensive rebound there. Burke against Matthews, fades away, and that was pretty from the big man. Paul thought about taking another three. He's been hot from there in this first half. Instead, he's going to bank one in from the mid-range. Looks a little familiar there. That's something that we've seen Ken Nixon do very frequently here. Simons blocked away by Yakachonis. He's had some success attacking him in isolation in this game, but Yakachonis gets the better of him there, and now off the inbound, Ryan Dunn needs to find somebody, finds Strother in the corner for three, tying this game up. Yakachonis looking inside Bam Adebayo, and they're going to call a foul on Jarris Walker. I don't know if Jarris Walker actually touched Bam Adebayo on that. So that's a call and a half, I guess, as Brook Paul gets a deep three to go. Strother, bounce pass. Nixon pulls it, trying to get a 2-for-1 opportunity, and he does make the basket here. Paul gets a screen from R.J. Barrett, and with Strother on his back, he's able to pull up from the mid-range. He has been electric here in the first half. His jumper has been working. Haven't really seen him maybe drive to the basket as much as you would think, but his jumper has been on the money, and Ken Nixon, with just a couple seconds remaining, answers it with a mid-range jumper of his own, and it's a 1-point difference heading into the half. This has been, honestly, feeling like a playoff game. The caliber of these teams, they're both very good, both playing well, and as you would expect, the three guys in double figures for us at the half. That's been pretty balanced between them, Nixon, Burke, and Simons. Going the other way, the Heat have 21 first-half points from Brook Paul and 17 from Bam Adebayo. Nobody else is above 4. It's been a two-man show in Miami. Let's see if it'll stay that way in the second half. Brook Paul getting things going with another pull-up from the mid-range. He's looked really impressive. Walker, a tough floater on the baseline. Drill it. Way to go, Walker. Inside, there just wasn't an angle there for Nixon to take advantage of. Stolen away. Brook Paul has Strother on him, but it doesn't matter there. There he gets the layup to go. Burke trying to go inside on Carl Matthews. Getting shut down, but the crossover gets him some space for the layup. Up to 14 points on the outing for the injured Will Burke. Adebayo just a little too strong there for Jarris Walker. And the Venom will call timeout here. Paul, I wish he would have went into the basket there with Yakachonis on him. Maybe the injury affecting his decision there, and it's Yakachonis who drills the three on the other end. Top of the key, it's Nixon. He's going right at Yakachonis, gets the foul. And the basket, a strong play from the Venom star. On the baseline, Brook Paul, floater, gets it to go. Said he didn't really get to the basket much in the first half, and I guess he heard me. He's getting there in the third quarter. Tough look for Nixon. Probably thought he had another foul, but gets the offensive rebound and finds the open man in Julian Strother. Brook Paul, good look off the catch, a deep three. His shooting stroke, he's been on it tonight. You can tell he's motivated to show us why he should have been the number one pick. But Brook Paul is, of course, impressing in his own right still. Will Burke is impressing in his own right. They're both impressing, to be fair. But Brook Paul is on an absolute tear from beyond the three-point line in this game. Burke inside for two. Yakachonis taking it to Ken Nixon. The help defense came, and it left a man wide open in Carl Matthews. Nixon gets a great screen from Will Burke, takes it baseline for the one-handed slam. What a screen there from Will Burke. Gave him tons of space. 2-point ball game here. 4.5 minutes remaining in the third. The pump fake got Paris Webb, but he took long enough to shoot it that the defense was able to regather. It didn't matter in the end, though. Double comes on the post, and Miami with excellent ball movement leads to the Carl Matthews dunk. Hero, we know he's got great three-point ability, and Miami now leads by 9. The offense has certainly slowed down, and we've gone from a 2-point ball game to a 13-point ball game. The offense just can't find anything to go, but Jack Finley takes it to Colin Sexton, slams it down. Hopefully this can end our cold streak here, but Tyler Hero, they didn't really need much from him in the first half, but he is coming through for them in the quarter. Finley with the pick and roll. Jalen Williams, the recipient on the inside. Now a double screen for Finley. Right back to that pick and roll with Jalen Williams for back-to-back buckets here. Down to 4 seconds left in the quarter, and another Tyler Hero 3. Just that offensive lull and just a lack of defense on Tyler Hero's jumper have helped Miami build a pretty sizable lead here heading into the fourth quarter. Can the Las Vegas Venom make a bit of a comeback? We've scored a couple baskets here in a row to make it a 12-point game. Hero, baseline, got some space, and got the basket. Simon's with it now. Going at Tyler Hero. Gets by him with ease for the slam. Miami will call timeout here. Now under the 8-minute mark, and that is a great feed from Tyler Hero, finding Khalil Ware cutting to the basket. Burke turns around and fires one up and in over Carl Matthews. That fadeaway jumper looking clean for Will Burke, but Miami gets the points right back. Burke from the free throw line hands it off to Ken Nixon, and that's a smooth operator there. Hero on fire in the second half. He's kind of taken off where Brooke Paul left with that jump shot, and another mid-range shot will go for Ken Nixon. Matthews, defended by Burke, gets to the basket for the layup. Under halfway to go here. It's still a 15-point ball game. We need to start making something happen. Ryan Dunn hopefully getting something going there. If he can get going from three, I mean, that would be really nice. The defense still not doing good enough, getting stops. Nixon off the dribble from beyond the arc, took the space he got from the Wilberg screen and turned it into three. Dunn to the basket. The Venom making nice use out of some Wilberg screens here. Ryan Dunn hits another one. Okay, Ryan, now we're down to a 6-point ball game. But a mishap defensively. You have to wonder if that's just caused by a little bit of the injury of Will Burke, just not being able to stay with his guy. But 2 minutes left. We got an 8-point ball game. Let's see how the end of this game turns out here. Get a miss from Nixon in the mid-range, not something he does often. And then Tyler Hero to the basket. There is not a lot of room for error with how much time is left on the clock in a 10-point ball game. We got it down to 6. We did enough to make it interesting. Ryan Dunn's been the hot hand, but he won't hit it there. I mean, with how well he's been playing in these last few minutes, I think that was a good look, even though he's certainly not a main scorer for us. And just this inability to stop the Heat in the pick and roll is really hurting us here. Nixon should have just taken the layup. Instead, I mean, I know Ryan Dunn made a few shots for us, but I don't think we need to start seeking him out like that. I mean, Nixon was right by Hero for an easy layup. Hero, another look at three. This time no good, and they'll say it's off the hands of Will Burke. But I think we just haven't executed well enough down the stretch here on both ends. We've gotten, I mean, one Ryan Dunn look I was certainly fine with. He was wide open. The other one, I don't know why Ken Dixon didn't take that shot. And then we just haven't been able to get the stops here. We're going to go back to the pick and roll again, although Bam won't roll to the basket this time. So we do get the stop, but we're down to 30 seconds left in this ball game. Ken Nixon going back to Ryan Dunn with a wide open layup. All right, that's it. We're done. And we're going to lose this ball game 118 to 103. I don't know why the game plan became only Ryan Dunn is allowed to shoot down the stretch. His shooting numbers at the end are going to actually not look great because he was just forced to take all the shots down the stretch for us because he made a couple of shots with like a few minutes left. Okay. Well, 26, 6, and 6 from Ken Nixon. 4 turnovers. 22, 7, and 4 from Will Burke. playing injured. 16 from Simons. We did get 10 rebounds from Jarris Walker, which is nice. 33, 5 and 5 from Brooke Paul. So his scoring slowed down a little bit in the second half, but unfortunately for us, Tyler Heroes picked it up. If you look at the fourth quarter, I mean, yeah, Brooke Paul only shot once. He was guarded by Kent Nixon a lot in the fourth quarter, so I don't know how he played 13 minutes in the fourth quarter too, but good job by Kent Nixon to slow him down. We just didn't do really enough on either side of the ball, but I didn't really like our defense especially. 8 and 6 is how we will end the episode. Wilburk is back, but from 5 and 1 to 8 to 6 is not where you want to be. A lot of losses here. We did pick up wins against Atlanta and Minnesota without Wilburk, and then we beat Phoenix here with him. So that brings us to a matchup that we will have with the San Antonio Spurs. And that's when we'll see what we can do to try and stop Wemby here, because that's going to be a tough task. This will be our second time facing them this season. We're 1-0 against them. So there's that. We'll try and keep our winning streak against them going. Let's go ahead and take a look at where our player stats are for this season. 29 points per game is Ken Nixon, 6 and 6. We're getting 22, 10.5, and 5.5 from Wilburk. We're getting just under 15 from Simons. He has been transitioned, of course, to the bench. 10 points per game from Strother. 8.4 from Greg Weber. So it looks like he's doing well in the simulation, which you like to see. Jarris Walker, 7 points per game. Jack Finley, 6, 5 for Webb, 5 for Dunn. Portis we don't really care about. And then 4 for Jalen Williams. In terms of players who are shooting poorly, the worst on the team is Jack Finley at 41%, but that's honestly not terrible for a guy who's 74 overall, you know. Strother's next. That's because he shoots a ton of threes. He's not shooting great from 3 this year, unfortunately. So, I mean, if Weber continues to play like this in simulation, he very well could earn that starting 2-guard role back from Strother. Although Strother's points per game total is higher than Weber's currently, so there's that. But rebounding-wise, it's Burke and then Nixon's in second place ahead of Jarris Walker here. Assist-wise, Nixon is leading us. Burke was our lead assist man last year. And then Simons in third place. Steals-wise, Will Burke leads us here. Got 2 other players averaging a steal a game, and Nixon and Walker. Blocks, no surprise, Burke leads us there. And then Walker also averaging a block per game. That's going to do it here for the episode. We're going to end it off in 7th place in the Western Conference. And these are the teams that we are behind. It's a very tough conference this year, and we'll see where we end up in it as we continue to simulate through the season. But that's all I've got for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon with more Venom franchise. And I'll see you then. Fangs out.